2TC is an achievement in Balloons Tower Defense 6 where you need to complete a game using just 2 towers in the CHIMPS mode, the Pod and Popseidon. Now the early game is really important here. Get ourselves some fireballs so we have another projectile to attack the balloons, and with the Prince of Darkness we are forced to go with the middle cross path rather than the top one for that increased lifespan of the undead, because we need something to pop the early leads before we get the Arctic Knight. But then also we can't afford Necromancer by that stage, so yeah. Put you on last for a little bit. Need to bring you back on first. Yeah, this is the trouble with this spot. But I can put the Mermonkey there for some additional firepower. Now, I'm not talking about you. I know you're lit. This is not the usual cross path we would go for with the Popseidon, but because we can decamo, we can get away with the faster fire rate with the top path, as opposed to the camo detection, the slightly longer range, and the homing tridents. We'll get these two first. We'll stick with the 220 Mermonkey until we can go up to Necromancer. Otherwise, we'll have no means of popping purple balloons. Get Wall of Fire, and then after that, we need that camo detection. 21. Where are we going with this? Do we need to do a little bit of microing now and then? I'll need you to pop the purples, please, Mermonkey. And oh, they almost got away. If that fireball did not snap to that blue balloon and the magical bolt, that would have been it for the run. Yellow balloons are round 27. No, thank you. Round 28. Lead balloons, it's all up to you, wizard. We need the undead to spew forth before we do anything about the purple threat. Although we may have, no, actually, I was going to say, we may have needed to actually just chill out with the tidal chill and just go up to Necromancer beforehand. Maybe that would have been a better option, but here we are. Now we can safely go up to Riptide Champion. But we'll get Prince of Darkness first. I want to put a video together at some point, explain my honest thoughts about the Rogue Legends DLC, because there is a bit in it in which I really like, but there's so much in the game which I feel like it's either not fleshed out at all, or just feels artificially too difficult, because throw as many enemies at you as possible, get severely outpierced and all that by all of these ceramics, by all of these DDTs, etc. The Dread Balloon, I feel like the Dread Balloon is just the most difficult boss in the entire Rogue Legends DLC. And I would say probably a close second would be Balloonarius or Blaster Populus. Phase and Vortex I think are the easiest ones, but balancing wise, Dread Balloon just makes boss event Dread Balloon look so weak. Like, you have a build entirely geared towards a particular monkey category. So let's say you have super monkeys, you have mermonkeys, you probably have ninjas or like an alchemist as well. What's one problem throughout all of that? Those magic monkeys can't do anything when the Dread Balloon suddenly goes to the magic resistance. So you have to think about something else. I thought that green balloon was about to escape there. So you need to think about something else within your arsenal in order to counteract it. But your artifacts aren't really built for that. They're mainly built for enhancing your magic monkeys, for example, or all of your dart-based projectiles, etc. And stage 5 is like trying to complete a not an expert map on CHIMPS, but a true expert map on CHIMPS. Only reserved for those who are the absolute top tier of players in the community. Those who know the game in and out, who know things inside out and everything in between. I should have moved the cursor really. But the mode just feels really elite gated and not at all approachable for those who are just starting out on the game. And obviously in scenarios there needs to be some sort of a challenge so that then it feels like you have accomplished something when you get to the other side. but it feels like that the gap between being able to do something and being able to, would you please summon so that you go across? I actually really hate it when the Prince of Darkness itself, you can't put it on a bit of, I need you to go upwards, This is so annoying. Go upwards, thank you. Anyways, rant over about the Prince of Darkness's, what do you call it? Its cursor, being able to put it down and it's be able to go a certain way. It's like you don't know which way it's going to go, and it's always going to go the way in which you don't want it to go, because it keeps going the way in which you don't want the undead to go. And there's bound to be people out there who's just going to say that the mode itself is too easy, or it's so easy I can do it without even any artifacts, or I can do it with just one kind of tower. It doesn't matter that I'm up against Dread Balloon, I still managed to beat the magic immunity with a magic monkey, because guess what? I'm that much of a Giga Chad at the game. You always get those kind of people out there who, I don't think they've seen the sun at all for the past all of their life. Anyways, BFB, there we go. I just think that the whole mode itself is extremely geared towards the most experienced of players, and anybody who is not that well experienced will struggle in the mode. I managed to get to stage 4 once, and then I lost to erosion. I had a brilliant setup going, I had RNG on my side, but then when erosion appeared, nah, I just wanted to quit the game entirely, because that map is entirely geared towards the best of the players in this community. And that's just not a load of good fun, is it? One thing that needs to be apparent though, especially with the merchants, again, the merchant hasn't been given a name in the Rogue Legends universe, but I think there needs to be artifacts which are specific to the merchants, so you can't get it within a mini boss or a race or an endurance or anything like that. There needs to be merchant only artifacts which you can only get from a merchant and nothing else from, let's say, rewards, or specific kinds of challenges needs to give you the accessibility of only being able to get a certain artifact, from that boss. So let's say if you go up against FaZe in the mini boss, well, there could be artifacts that you can only get from that specific boss tile, or with the balloon encounters. A lot of people have said this, but and also myself as well in my own spare time, is that each of the balloon encounters just lasts for far too long. The custom rounds just go on for far too long, and it feels like you are strangleholded the later on you go on throughout the game. Like, you're given fewer resources, even though you got more artifacts. It feels like the difficulty curve of the game just dramatically goes up to the point where you as a player cannot do anything. Another thing I find a bit worrying as well, and this is just down to the game's ecosystem as a whole, is that more recently than not, Ninja Kiwi have been pursuing more monetary paths with the game. So with the Mr. Beast promotion, for example, and the Battle Cast, and now Rogue Legends, all of these options are purchases you need to make outside of the game. I know you could say that powers are in-game purchases and double cash are in-game purchases, but they're there if the player wants to buy them, and it doesn't necessarily add something new to the game. It's just, here's something that's convenient. So a monkey farmer, for example, is an auto gatherer. It gathers all of the banana farms which are spewed out all across the battlefield, so that you don't have to do that. Or if you don't have the tier 5 bottom farm, then obviously that's not a thing. But powers, aside from Battle Kit, are something that you can earn in game, but you can purchase more of them if you so choose to want to do that. the game is not strangling you as to like, if you want to have a certain feature, you have to pay for it outside of already purchasing the game itself. And people have also commented about the fact that Rogue Legends is more expensive than the actual base game itself. It's like, if you're gonna have a dinner but you're only given gravy because that's all you've paid for, but it's like, I've already paid 20 bucks for my dinner, why am I only given the gravy of the dinner? So if you want potatoes, that's another additional DLC. If you want your meat or a vegetarian equivalent of that, then you also need to pay additional DLC on top. We're calling them DLCs, by the way. And yeah, I kind of see where people get from, but I also see that, well, you can't just fund a game from nothing. And the player base of Bloons Tower Defense 6 have unfortunately been going down as the years have gone by, but the niche community that exists for this game will still always be here. Like, there will always be new players, but then there will also be new players that will drop out of a game. It's just a natural part of a game's ecosystem. No game will last for forever. But I swear, Ninja Kiwi, if you do what other developers have done, or what other publishers have done, and make this game online only, for some odd reason, if you make this game online only, then the integrity of the game itself will die when the live service dies with it. And I don't think this game even is live service. We get updates, but it's not like we're entirely reliant on live service. Like, could you even call like the collection event a live service? No, not really. But from the player's perspective, we're seeing more and more monetary options come into play, and they're monetary options that add something to the experience of the game in which you wouldn't have without paying real money for it, which can be positive and negative depending on your experience or perspective. But I always like to see things from both sides of the table. You need to get every single angle of a particular scenario onto the table before any concrete conclusions can be formed. Otherwise, you will be missing particular angles that could add something to the whole scenario in which may not have been there before. Okay, round 94 is coming up, and I feel like this is where we're going to need to use our ability from the Popseidon for the first time. And Sulphur Springs is just an absolutely brilliant map for this tower. Okay, ceramics, just don't. Just please don't. Also round 95, here we are. Yeah, this is actually going to take over the pod. You can see why I called it Pod and Pop. Popseidon, Prince of Darkness, abbreviated to Pop. My goodness sakes, these two are excellent. Once the DEDs are decamified, then the Popseidon shreds them. Here we go, round 96. Do we even need to use the ability? Perhaps I didn't need to use the ability around 94. They may circle around. Nope. Do we need to use them on round 97? That is going to be a very, very, very successful no, perhaps. They'll come back around here and interact with us, lovely. But on this round, we'll definitely need to use it. When the ZMGs come out, yeah, they're going to get absolutely mincemeated. Hope I'm not speaking too soon. Need the ability back at some point. Maybe we even need to use it on round 99. Put you on Strong, actually, and then move the cursor over to... We'll discount the cursor because the undead will go this way. Ooh, looking very, very precarious here. Okay, round 100, and I need you to go upwards. Thank you. Go upwards. Do not even dare go back around there again. There's no like indicators like, okay, so when you put the cursor here, it's gonna go along this particular path. Yeah. I think that's what you would call a goodbye moment to the bad. There we go. And it's still not popped. I was banking on, oh, maybe we could, yeah, the Popseidon's gonna pop them too quickly. We can't get them back around. Oh, no. Loose ceramics. Is this really what we die to? Ceramics of all things, around 100? Perhaps slightly later? Perhaps. They're around now a bit more, but of course they're going to expire. No. Oh. That BFB class zombie saved the day there. So there's almost 1 million pops per tower, but just we needed the power of the Popseidon to come into play here. I still like my nickname for Mermonkey. It perfectly resonates all 3 cross paths, and you can fit it all in within a nickname. There we go, everybody. That was a more of a talkative about Balloons Tower Defense 6 experience, rather than just talking about the scenario itself, even though we did talk a little bit about the specific combinations of these two. You have to get Necromancer before you upgrade the middle path to tier 3, otherwise you can't pop purple balloons. You need to get Necromancer first before getting up to Riptide Champion. That's just like the only condition, and also you need Fireball at the very least, otherwise you can't pop lead balloons, and you can't get Necromancer for the lead rounds, and you definitely can't get Arctic Knight for the lead rounds. I honestly think the top cross path should have some form of lead popping potential, really. I mean, tentacles, for goodness sakes, they capsize ships, let alone leads in the form of balloons. Anyways, there we go. That is the Pod and Pop 2TC. That is the canonical combination naming of those two pairing. Sorry, those two. So thank you all so much for watching, everybody. Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comment sections below, and let me know your own thoughts about the Rogue Legends DLC, because I really want to love it more than I do, but it feels so bare bones at the moment. It's like the exoskeleton is in place, but there's nothing to fill in the exoskeleton with not artificial difficulty, but some form of like more organic difficulty, where it's like you go onto this tile, it presents this kind of a challenge. Maybe even have like a chimp scenario inside a balloon encounter, or make it impoppable, or apocalypse, or something to spice up the balloon encounter like mode, outside of just ramping up the rounds and only slightly increasing the amount of money that you get. And I also think the amount of money you get for bosses is just not good enough. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everybody.